Hey all, Board Game Rants here. We'll find everything solo, tabletop, gaming, and more. We're back in action, full swing gaming season. It was a good month. A concentrated month, but a good one. Here's what I've been playing last month. MVPs. About getting right back into it. All gaming. Video games included. Borderlands 3, for anybody who plays video games. You know, too, I found interesting, because we got this game, my wife and I love playing, we've been playing it to death. A lot of people say, I don't board game solo, because that's what video games are for. I find I play video games with people way more than board games. Kind of interesting thing I realized. Anyway, but it's true. So, even so, got lots of board gaming in. There's the precursory Uno and Pinochle that I played with family on those nights. But I only played 5 different board games. 48 plays across those 5. And I'll start with Dungeon Alliance. Oh, so first of all, thank you, welcome. Anybody who is new to watching the channel, there seem to be it just keeps growing. So what do I do here? It's just where I kind of bundle up everything I played and I talk about it. I talk about how I felt about it and what I liked, disliked, all that stuff. It's sort of a monthly review of the games that I go through, and in that way, I'm allowed to change my mind about games, because as I feel like it's one thing missing in reviews is this timeline that occurs as you play games. How you feel about them changes. It just does. Dungeon Alliance, was one of them, because when that game came out, I didn't particularly enjoy it. It was one of my first full-fledged reviews that I did, one of the most watched reviews that I did, and I spoke about how it didn't speak to me, and what I felt like it was missing. It wasn't missing anything. It just wasn't the game I was expecting, I guess. So it kind of just set me back a little. But at that time, I was talking about how I kickstarted the expansions, Champions, and Adventure Packs. Well, I got those, and I finally got them to the table. I played that 3 times, Dungeon Alliance, with these expansions, and but that was it. Because sort of like when Scythe came out with its modular expansion, and I think I got a couple plays into that. Expansions of games that you've already had a lot of, take a back seat to the new big games. It just kind of does, at least for me. And so I found my focus was, it was hard to focus on Dungeon Alliance, even though I feel like the expansions did what I was hoping they would do. They brought life to the game. They kind of added a narrative and made it feel more just less generic, and I was able to get more into it. I still the thing I'm finding in general that I'm disliking about games, and I don't know if it's just I'm getting tired of it or what, but it's setup and teardown is such a big thing for me. I don't mind a long setup or teardown if I enjoy it. So games that I can recall enjoying setting up are Mage Knight, or even Gaia Project there's some setup to it, but it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that I really like. And Dungeon Alliance requires a lot of setup, especially with the expansions. There's different stacks of cards all over the place. You got to kind of put it in a certain order, and then you got, I don't really just care for the monster tiles and how you track health and stuff, and it gets pretty clumpy on the board and just hard to stack health up in there, and it just it feels unclean compared to, say, Too Many Bones, where everything just feels so crisp and heavy, and there's room to move around. You're not knocking stuff over, and it just looks friggin' gorgeous, and just the production quality is off the charts. And Dungeon Alliance is just a bunch of cards, and you got to stack them around. You got to make sure things are in different order, and then you can't get a real brain kind of there's just a lot to think about there. There's a lot of it's a good game. I like the game, but it just took a back seat when the Beasts came out, and that would be Cloudspire came out, Tapestry came out. I got those in, and I picked up Vindication, and I picked up another game which I'm going to get to because it's one I'm most looking forward to here this coming month. But Dungeon Alliance with its expansions, I do feel like it's doing what I was hoping it would do, but I have yet to really get into it and really, experience the stories as I would like. And I'll speak more on that, when I get to it. Hopefully I'll get to it. That was 3 plays of Dungeon Alliance. Vindication. So speaking of Vindication, I got that game because it had, well, there was a lot of talk about it, and it just looked cool. I'd watched it played a couple times, and I read through the rules, and because it came out with an expansion that had an official solo variant, but I read and people didn't like it. People were commenting on things that had me going, ooh, I don't think I would like that. But I did notice Vindication, the board game, before the expansion was even released, there were people putting out, God, I love BGG. I love those users that go out there and they just put up fan-made solo content, and some of it is just astonishing. I went through that with was it a month or so ago when I was talking about Trajan, and that solo kind of Automa style solo variant that was done there was fantastic. And so in Vindication, I looked, there was like 3 of them, I want to say. And one didn't look like it really... See, Vindication comes with all sorts of goodies. There's the base game, and then there's like a bunch of modular things you can add in there. A bunch. And I wanted all of it. I wanted to play it solo with all of it in there. Well, one expansion didn't seem to really... It was just like, you mainly use the base stuff. And another expansion was done... Or not expansion, variant. Fan-made solo variants that just, it didn't look... It wasn't well presented, and so I kind of looked at it and I read through it real quick, and it seemed like, oh yeah, that was, that seems like something. And then another one called the Golem. That's the one I settled on, and I want to give credit to these to whoever made those. So I'll probably put those up on the screen here. But the Golem was based on one of the other ones. A for presentation for sure, because it looked great. And I did an unboxing of this, and I show it a little bit. And anyway, I played it. Long story short, busted out Vindication, learned it. I got 5 plays in with this solo variant. Actually, 4 with the solo variant, the Golem. And you can go on Board Game Geek. You can print it out. It's good. I think it's good. I still have yet to really taste all of the goodies because I've added in some modular stuff here and there. But I did play it also multiplayer, and that I think that's kind of where the game really shines. Because that's what it was made to do. Played with my son, and he picked up on it real quick, and it was fun. We had a good time. That one we just played the basic version as well. We didn't add any of the expansion stuff, any of the modular stuff. And I've since played it 4 times and added a bunch of the modular stuff, and it does make the game better. Definitely crunchier. Definitely the way I'll always play it is with these modulars added to it. But that was Vindication. Only got 5 plays in that so far. It's still up on the table. Still plan on playing more of that. I'll have more to say. So that leaves 3 more games. And so I usually have a surprise game, a disappointing game, and the MVP, the most voraciously played game. My favorite game of the month. So I'll start off with the surprise. And that is, and I talked about it last month, PAX Premier, 2nd edition, got 6 plays in. And even amongst the other games, and so, here we go. There's only 2 other games that I played. That is Tapestry and Cloudspire, because those both came. One of those is my most voraciously played, and one of those I was disappointed in. PAX Premier, back to that. Even with these super hyped, these beasts of games that I was so looking forward to and was playing, just playing the hell out of, I just kept going back to PAX Premier. That game it's simply one of the best designed games I have ever played. Ever. And I just kept wanting to play it. And so I did. And so intermittently, I've just never experienced a game that you can set up so quickly and is so enjoyable in such a... it hits in every single level for me. And the theme, as I mentioned, is all about history. And I am just completely uninterested. And it just sounds terrible. I wish we should all be interested in history. Or you repeat your past mistakes, all that stuff. I hate history. I find it boring. I just do. It's not for everybody, right? Like most things. So when I'm playing this game that just looks, especially look at the back and just like, that's what always kept me away from it. Was just, it looked like cool mechanics, but I just couldn't get past the history part. I finally got past the history part, picked up the game, talked a lot about it it was my MVP last month, and it just kept getting out on the table. In between, just like when I had a chance, and I just brought it with me a couple times to different little game nights, and I just couldn't stay away from it. Still won't be able to stay away from it. I'll be talking more about PAX Premier, I am sure of it. But I was just surprised how I couldn't let it go. So, to get into my most disappointing game. Was it Tapestry? Was it Cloudspire? I don't know. You can guess? Any guesses? It was Tapestry. It was Tapestry. And I played it 13 times, all solo. And I'll start off right at the beginning saying, it wasn't a bad game. Just, this wasn't for me. And it wasn't what I was really expecting, I guess, because it says, man, I tell you, there's a lot of comments on this game. There are a lot of reviews on this game. This game was if I can say anything about how impressed I am about the game of Tapestry, was how it was marketed. Jamie Stegmaier it was genius. It was, the way it was marketed was way better than the game for me. Why? Well, I don't know. It says a civilization game right on the box, right? And and a lot of people I know immediately go to, if you've played civilization games, I don't have a ton of experience, but I just think of like Through the Ages. That's sort of like the quintessential civilization game for a lot of people. And it's been a top-rated, top 10 game for like ever. And there's just nothing like it's just not even, man, I don't even know how to put it into words. Is it a civilization game? I don't know. I don't think he's lying. It says so right on the box. But I guess I don't really care to debate it so much as say that I feel like I've played many games that feel more like civilization games and make no such claim on the box. Like Scythe. I don't know. Scythe feels more like a civilization game to me. And that's still my favorite Stone Meyer game. And I've been kind of waiting for the next Scythe this year. And it just hasn't come out. There's been, Wingspan, which is a great game for a certain crowd. But as you all know, I sold it. And, made my money back and some. And it was just reinvested it actually right into Euphoria, Ignorance is Bliss. That game I've kept. Tapestry is on I'm selling it, trying to sell it while I can and still get most of my money back so I can put it back into games. Back to Tapestry. Yeah, Scythe just felt more like a civilization game. I would say, Gaia Project. Speaking of which, so I'm playing Tapestry and like all I kept doing as I was playing Tapestry is kind of drawing parallels to Gaia Project. I mean, there's this, it's got so much, like, first of all, just the resource track, the way the resources are tracked, they go up and down, just like Gaia Project. But then there's sort of like certain rounds in which you score. There's 5 scoring rounds and income rounds, whereas Gaia Project, there's like 6, right? And then there's, you're taking buildings off of your board and placing them out into, your main game board, and in that way you're revealing resource streams and different little goodies and stuff. You're moving up 4 tech tracks in Tapestry, where you're moving up 6 tech tracks in Gaia Project. You're out there kind of expanding in this land in Tapestry, and you're expanding on this in the galaxy and in Gaia Project. I feel like there's other those end game little bonuses and stuff. I know there was a couple others too where I just kept drawing these parallels, and in every parallel, Tapestry just felt inferior to me. That's not fair, because Gaia Project was my favorite solo game of 2018. So when you're up against that, Just getting kind of probably going to lose. Yeah. Well, but Gaia Project too. I mean, you look at it and you look in the ratings, it's a top 10 game in a couple categories. And I think for good reason. And Tapestry also. And then I felt sorry for it again because it's like called Tapestry, and here I am playing what I think, maybe one of the best games that I've ever played of all time, PAX Premier Second Edition, which almost feels like it has a lock on my favorite solo game of 2019. I don't know, but I thought it was be City of Kings, and there's some others and stuff, but holy moly. Last year I felt like I agonized between Gaia Project and some others, and this right now there's a kind of a clear winner for me. But I digress. Back to Tapestry, and PAX Premier kind of comes with this weird Tapestry like playing board that you play on. It's kind of I complained a little bit about it first, but it's starting to loosen up and lay flat, and things aren't falling over at all because I'm playing the hell out of it. And so Tapestry just kind of, for all those reasons, it just didn't feel like I wouldn't put it past Jamie for putting a Civilization game on there, just for marketing purposes too. You guy's a genius. he can sell a game. Holy shnikes. And some things I just didn't. So Tapestry, like when I was playing well, and I'd score in the mid. I never hit 300. Never got there. It says that that's a good score. I never got there. But man, when I hit mid to high 200s, it felt cool. But I also too was like, oh man, I was lucky to get that Tapestry card when I got it. I was lucky that the Automa didn't move up on the track, and so I was able to get up and grab this or that. But then so the 12th, I think I played it 13 times. My 12th game, I scored pretty high, but I'd already felt these like peaks and highs and lows. It's just so swingy. And on my 13th game, I probably shouldn't have stopped on my 13th game. Unlucky number 13. Probably not a good game to stop on. But I stopped there because I scored like 131 points or something. Just half what I scored, last game. And it was because, the Tapestry cards, they're so reliant on those. If you get just crappy ones in the beginning, there's a couple that are really powerful at certain times. And it's just, it was frustrating. And really, once you're like 3 income turns in, you kind of know if you're done. Things just aren't panning out. You're too far back on the tracks, and if the AI just tracks along too quick, you a lot of civilizations require it's like you better be moving up on these certain tracks to maximize the score of the civilization. And if the AI jumps out ahead of you, and you can't catch up just because it just keeps going, it kind of just sucks. It kind of sucks. So. Yeah, the cards, the technology cards, it was so abstract too. It just felt abstract and watered down. A Civilization game that I like way better that was so abstract. I didn't feel like I was ever creating writing or all this stuff or glasses. It's just all just abstract. But a game I did a fan made solo, and I did a little tutorial on Innovation. It's a card game, a simple little card game, but not pretty deep. Great card game, one of my favorite card games ever. And but yeah, it came out, it made sense. There was kind of an era 1 and an era 2 and era 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. And you play these cards that and they'd say writing or tools or stuff on them to kind of signify as you're building your civilization. But it tracked the way a Civilization game tracks, and at the end you get cards where you could nuke people, you could nuke the whole board and stuff, and just do super uber powerful things depending on what you focused on. Oh, it was so well done. Innovation. I would play hands over feet over toes over everything over Tapestry. Really, I would, and I'll keep that game. It's a classic game. It was a cheap game. And it was a very abstract Civilization game that, I for my purposes and my taste is just way better. And so, yeah, that was Tapestry. Just didn't take to it, and I did do a tutorial on the Automa. I love doing that. I took great joy out of that. I do enjoy teaching the Automa Factory. That whole system and the way they do stuff is just enjoyable to teach. It really was. And I enjoyed doing the video. It seemed a lot of people taking interest in it. and I'm glad. And I know people are going to enjoy Tapestry. It's definitely got some things. It's like I said, it's a good game, but it's not what I'm looking for the next size, and I'm just disappointed that I haven't found it yet. Euphoria Ignorance is Bliss has been my more or less my favorite Stonemaier release so far this year. So enough of that Tapestry and disappointment stuff. Let's get into the MVP, and that would be Cloudspire. Of course, that's what's left. That's another Chip Theory game. Chip Theory games, if you haven't experienced these games, what are you thinking, for one? No, they're very expensive, and they're actually pretty difficult to get. You have to order them through the site. No other way to get them. And yes, they are pricey, but they're just over the top in all their component quality, and they come with lots of little storagey things that, cards that you'll never have to sleeve and all sorts of stuff that saves you a lot of money in that fashion. It's just you got to suck it up and dish out that money. But these games are high rated games, and they're heavy, kind of 3.8, 3.9 to 4.0 on that weight scale. And the ratings are for their Too Many Bones series, like 8.5. And there's for the Too Many Bones, there's like 3 point something thousand, ratings on that one. Now you look at something like Cloudspire right now is in the mid 8s. Again, very, very high rated games, but there's only a few hundred, I think, ratings on that so far. But it's gonna stick right around there. I know it will. And their last Too Many Bones, Undertow, which was an expansion, but it was a standalone expansion, was one of the highest rated. I think it was like 8.9 right now. Just, and that was what was competing really with Gaia Project, if I remember correctly, last year. And it was neck and neck. So Cloudspire, it is a MOBA, multiplayer, multi-online battle arena something style game, but in board game form, a tower defense game. And I had no idea what to expect with this game. I'd never really played a board game like it. And there was one that was based off of League of Legends. And I can't think of it right now. But that I was always interested in, but I never got. But I'd still be interested in getting, especially after this. But back to Cloudspire. This game is, you'll play a faction. And the factions have very unique abilities. And there's 4 coming with the base game, but I also got the expansion, the Grieg. I'm not saying, I don't know if right. But I looked, at the front of the box, it just looks like a sinister character and stuff. And so I was first getting the base game. I played a couple times with the Brannin, because there's this whole solo campaign that you can do that has like 4 scenarios with each of the factions. So for it was 16 different scenarios to play solo. Just awesome. That's one great thing about Chip Theory games. They are so solo oriented. They they're just awesome. Chip Theory games. And I kind of, was not saying the best things about their Kickstarter practices last month, but the games are just insane. It always makes up for it. Oh, you just got a soft spot, a heart for Chip Theory games. So Cloudspire is another phenomenal project, a phenomenal game. I played it 21 times, and I started with Brannin, and then I found out this expansion faction that I got was insects, and that's kind of my thing a little bit. And so I tore right into it, and I just started playing the heck out of it. And it is, it's the best faction. I love it. I mean, you could do these crazy things like something that's just it's so thematic. These guys that can evolve, and you can like burrow in the ground, you pop out stronger. This larva can just develop into different creatures and stuff, and you can upgrade your hive. And if your queen goes out, she takes some of the health because she's kind of the life of the colony. And it just all is just wonderfully done, and it feels so thematic while you're playing the game. It is very heavy. It is very, like Too Many Bones. There's a lot of FAQ to it. And there just has to be. There's too many unique scenarios. I mean, some games I just feel like shouldn't need FAQs. Like it felt like Spirit Island, just it should have been more succinct to not have so many crazy gray areas. That was my opinion a while ago, and I wonder I'll have to kind of reevaluate that. But with Too Many Bones and with Cloudspire, it's always been forgivable, I guess, for me, because they're so involved games, and you can find yourself in so many unique positions that it's just, there's no way you could get a rule book to encompass all of that. And so be prepared for that. but also, for me, be prepared to reap the benefits of your patience and your desire to just learn this game and like master this game. And no doubt in my mind, this will make top 10 of the year for me in solo games. So basically, your faction will start in its fortress, and then there's this map set up, and then there'll be a path that leads, at least one, from your fortress to the enemy fortress. And the enemy's going to send out little minions and heroes after you. You're going to send out little minions and heroes after you. The minions have very certain ways that they have to operate. They're kind of automated in a sense, but your heroes have all sorts of flexibility, and it's just masterfully done how you can just the same scenario just can play out so different every single time. And they do this great thing too where you can earn renown. So there's like levels to your success. Like they'll give you like a goal. And if you reach that goal, but you also do this and you also do this and you also do this, it gives you get kind of, I love that. I like that idea. There's a win-lose, case. But then there's also like, if you manage to do this as well, that kind of just, I like that as opposed to, how high did you score when you won kind of thing. Well, it's sort of like that, but there's like certain feats to accomplish. And it just gives you these cool things to try to pull off while you're playing it. And when I was playing the Brahmin, it took me a long time to get past the first scenario and win it. But then it like started clicking, you start getting like, okay, this is what the Brahmin are good at. So knowing that and knowing what's coming after me, you can start pivoting and putting out the right units at the right time. This is just it's a fantastic game. That is Cloudspire. That was my MVP of the month. Now, what am I looking forward to? You've probably seen it behind me this whole time. I haven't even said anything about it. That time is over. Black Angel. Now, I got some tasty morsels on this one. Some people saying that I got to play this. One of them's a viewer, and that said I should pick this up because I was talking about picking up Vindication and or Black Angel, and he was like, "You got to have this. You got to get this." And then he did a review on BGG, and no, I can't. I'll pop that up on the screen. Who that was? So I picked it up, still in its wrap, and I've watched some playthroughs, and now I'm starting to read through the rules. Then I'll do an unboxing, and I like to do these unboxings as I really know about the game, because it's just like, oh my gosh, you get into it. Sorry, that was a little over top, wasn't it? Anyway, so that's the game I'm most looking forward to. It definitely has the characteristics of a game that I like. I can see like one of the things that I love are games that manage like you can go in this direction, you go in this direction, but there'll be a time where these things intersect and there's this beautiful synergy created, whether it be points or a power that's developed. And this looks like it's got kind of all those cool little moving pieces that this guy likes. So that's what I'm looking forward to busting out next here as I approach October. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I do love being back. I do love getting into the swing of gaming again. It's just getting colder outside. I've got the heater blasting on me over here now. It got cold real fast around here. And just gives me more reason to stay inside, keep plugging away at some games and keep doing videos and all that good stuff. So, please let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything down below. New games, solo games that are real crunchy that I should be looking after because I'm on the hunt again. I'm down to like just one unwrapped game. What? It's ridiculous. What's my life coming to? And so if you've got anything that you think I should look into, please let me know. And all that jazz. But until next time, I appreciate you watching. I'm Board Game Rants, and I'm out. Hey all, Board Game Rants here, where you'll find everything solo, tabletop, gaming, and more. Our first official month of season game. Fuckity fuckers. Oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Just spit it out! Gaming and more. Sound test.